Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock. I kind of wanted to touch on a different subject today, and it's just about hear your kids out, listen to your children. And I don't have children, but there's this misconception that if you don't have children, you can't relate to children, and that's not the case at all. You know, I play a significant role in so many children's lives, including my niece and my nephews and my best friend who have like 1,000 kids. I'm exaggerating, but whatever. And I love them all so. But I think because I don't have children, I can kind of have a little more patience with them. And all of the children always call me, because they know, first of all, I'm going to give them the right advice, just not the advice that they want to hear at the time, but the right advice. And also because I'm that adult who can literally remember every single age. I'm thinking back to maybe 4 or 5 years old. I can remember when I was a teenager and what I was feeling and what I was going through. And for some reason, some adults, they have a hard time, okay, let's just say their child is 13 and the child is just being 13, a 13-year-old. The adult have a hard time remembering how they were at 13. And even if they remember, it's this mindset of, okay, yes, I did that at 13, but I don't want my child to do it because I know what it did to me at 13. I get that. But in order for you to learn, you had to experience that. So you can tell your child, 1,000 times per day about your experience, but you only learn because it was your experience. And of course, you want to avoid them having to deal with a lot of the issues that you had to deal with. But truth be told, really all you can do is guide them and be honest and authentic and real with them and guide them. So during this corona time, if you guys Google the suicide rate in children, teens, early adults during this corona time, this quarantine time, it's mind-blowing. If you Google the percentage of how much the divorce rate has increased, divorce is already at a staggering amount, a high amount, and it's creeping up much more since quarantine, since coronavirus. Well, we have so much added stress. Life itself is already stressful. Again, I always say life is beautiful. I love life, but life is not always easy if we're going to be transparent and honest. So life is stressful, and now you're adding that additional stress. Okay, most people aren't not most, but a lot of people aren't working right now. You're clammed up in the house with individuals, including your children, who's probably annoying the heck out of you right now. Your spouse, who's probably annoying the heck out of you. Well, when they went to when they went to work, well, maybe they should be going to church. But when they went to work or when they went to school, that's an outlet. That's an outlet for each other, from each other. But now you're clammed up with somebody all the time, or if you're the one that's still working and you might have a spouse or a teenager who's just at home playing video games, and you come home, you're stressed out because, first of all, you're stressed because of work and you're stressed because of quarantine and everything else is going on, and that person's not carrying their weight. Well, have you considered, and not to say that that spouse or that child is right or wrong, but have you considered that that spouse or that child may be dealing with their own form of depression? Because remember, their life have been altered as well. Their norm has been altered as well. So let's say children, for example, they're no longer around their friends who may have been an outlet, people that they could have talked to and really expressed themselves, but now they're stuck in the house with a parent who don't understand them. You got a spouse who, might be dealing with issues. If it's a guy, he's the provider of the family. He can no longer provide. Now you're providing. So he's dealing with his own issues, his own insecurities, his own stress internally. But you come home and you're spazzing out because of what they didn't do in the house or what, whatever. And you're not realizing that that they're themselves is going through issues as well. And what we have to also realize is that when we were in school, most of us, we had to deal with bullying and we had to deal with gossip and all that stuff. Children are going to be children, but we didn't have that extra stress of social media. Like if something happened around the school, like you might have heard, someone got into a fight, it kind of circulated around the school. But now it circulates around the world. And you may not even know what's going on in these children's mind, because yes, there are many parents who have a great relationship with their children and an open relationship, which I think are the best, when a child can really come to you and talk to you about everything. But really, will your child tell you 100%? 100%? Even when it's things that they think that will stress you out even more, when they're watching you every day come home from work stressed and they really want to help you not be stressed. So it's like, okay, I'm being bullied, or I'm being, a rumor is going around the entire school, around the entire world about me. But they're watching you come home already stressed. Why would they put that extra stress on you, even though they have that open relationship with you? So you cannot just assume that because a child is a teenager or a young adult and they don't have the bills that you have, the stress that you have, the magnitude, the weight that you have of life, that because they're a child, that they don't have any stress. They probably have more. And the reason why I say more is because by you being an adult, you've probably learned how to deal with stress. Doesn't make it easy, but you learn how to deal with it and compartmentalize it, where they are young. Like, they haven't had that experience like you. So all that stuff, they're taking in eternally and really don't even have an outlet, especially now. And now if they try to express themselves, what do? You shut them down, right? Not intentionally, but you feel like, listen, I got a million bills stacked up on the table, so you worried about your cell phone bill being paid is not important. Right? Well, how about if that cell phone is off and they know that there's a rumor going around and they're trying to defend themselves? And I know that's petty to you, but that's not petty to a child who's being bullied. So my point is, stress is stress. Period. But when a person feels like they're not being heard, that can also add to depression. And depression is crazy because, again, if you Google the suicide rate in teenagers and young adults during quarantine, even if you Google depression increase, it's skyrocketed since quarantine. So I just want to encourage you all. Like, if you have children, and I know it's so stressful, I know you can say, well, kids, you don't have children, so you don't understand. Trust me, I get it. I hear you. But sometimes it really takes someone from the outside to be able to say, you know what? Yes, your child is crazy. Your child is acting, well, not your child is crazy, but your child is acting crazy right now. But your child is not alone. Or most teenagers act crazy one way or another. Boys, girls, whatever. They're act crazy. You acted crazy at 13. So let's not just forget about when you were a teenager. Right? Not saying they're right, not saying they're wrong, but make sure your child is heard. Don't just shoot them off because you just shutting them down. You may have been the outlet that they needed because they're dealing with something internally that you don't even know about in the cyber world. Take that time out, because Lord forbid if anything happened to your child, that will be something you will never, ever be able to forgive yourself because you missed the signs. So stay present, stay in the moment, because all this other stuff in the world, at the end of the day, really doesn't matter. Really, it doesn't matter. Bills, whatever. Relationships, whatever. But when it comes down to your family and your friends and people that you really, really love and care about, we have to tap more into people's, emotions rather than just shutting them down because their stress is not a stress that would stress us out. We all are dealing with things, guys. So that was in my heart. Like I said, if you guys Google it, it will blow your mind. You will see so many children, all races, all ages, who have committed suicide or attempted suicide during this quarantine time. So you guys, if you have a friend that's struggling or a family member that are struggling with their children, if they're not working, and if you can't pitch in and help them financially, because there's no stress like financial stress. Oh my God. If you can't pitch in to help them financially, maybe, see if you can get their children for a weekend to come stay with your children or something. Just give them that break. We all need a break, even from our spouses or our relationships. So you guys have a great one. It's your girl. Happy Friday. Kizzy Rock.